Today, our topic is about how ethnic minorities people are represented through Vietnamese YouTube channel, and we would like to focus on a case study of Hieu TV. And we will start from representation, we go to consequences, motivations, reactions, and last but not least, we will go to recommended solutions. First, do you know what is Hieu TV? Well, it is a verified channel on YouTube with 875,000 subscribers, making fun videos with the image of main actors wearing costumes of ethnic minority people. So how did they represent ethnic minority people? Hieu TV illustrates the image of them in most of the videos, so we cannot look at them without analyzing some aspects named as appearance, personality, living condition, and other elements. The first one will be appearance. The appearance of ethnic residents is shown predominantly in the costume of the main character in the videos. Hieu, the black shirt with red stripes, is considered to have some similarities with that of Tây or Nung people. However, it is found in no ethnic minorities in Vietnam, which is disrespectful when the actor mimicked it. Anyway, it's more like if you want to have some cheap moments like Hieu, they are in stock. So the question here is that why did they decide to represent ethnic minority community in that way? The reasons for the actions are unsure. They may attempt to overgeneralize the appearance of the ethnic minority community, ignore their features, or lack understandings about them. Anyway, at first glance, video makers misrepresent their outfit. So, besides, the audience can also realize the sloppy and messy appearance of the main character wearing dusty trousers or shirt and old-worn sandals in many videos. Here are some typical examples among them. Now, we look at these thumbnails. What do they tell you? And then we go to the second part, personality. In some videos, Hieu shows up with the trait of a lazy, mountainous man. For instance, in one of the latest videos, Đi thu mua sắt vụn vàng bạc đá quý, Hieu appears at the very beginning of the video with a pair of sandals, each of different color, groggy staffs in intoxication, going to the kitchen, finding food in empty pots after finishing works of man, which is drinking wine with his friend.
Gì mà cái để chỗ nào cũng để được. Sáng thì có gì ăn chưa? Bếp thì lạnh tanh ra chẳng thấy cơm nước gì. Lại đến lượt thằng này phải nấu cho mà ăn đây. Người ta đi uống rượu về thì nó đã vất vả rồi. Không chịu nấu lấy mà ăn. Ôi, say sao mà để.
In most of the titles and thumbnails, sensitive words implying to sex and sexual parts are used, leading to an impression on viewers with the ugly image of ethnic minority people that they are depraved and rebuffed. Hieu TV portrays the image of a gluttonous and idle man. As in the episode of Anh Tham Nhu Mõ, he deliberately escaped when his father-in-law asked to have built a wall and only ran to eat until midtime. He even tried to avoid helping his father-in-law after finishing eating.
Con xin phép, con phải về trước một tí, là mời bố mới lại các bác thử một chén. Ấy, con mà xong việc sớm thì con lên con giúp bố. Kể cả muộn con cũng lên.
Lên đúng giờ bà.
Con sẽ cố gắng con giúp cho bố xong được cái tưởng bao này.
đi xe đạp nó nào đến đây được.
Chả được đúng giờ ăn thì chả được đúng giờ làm thì cứ đúng giờ ăn cũng được.
Cứ ngựa không đến đâu.
Anh nhá. Con về cái.
Con rể ông hôm nay không ăn tôi nhôm bóng à? Dạ không.
Con về hả?
This image is also shown obviously in other episodes such as Thành ăn trực không mời mặt dày vẫn đến. And he also represents an image of stingy man. This is the character's most expressed personality in a large number of videos, and he appears as a selfish man who only knows his own benefits and not other. From giving lucky money of 10 a day to wine parties need paying. Some titles prove his point. First one will be the bố vợ tham ăn con rể keo kiệt, or kiệt mới có hà tiện mới giàu, chồng kiệt gặp cô vợ hoang. And now we turn to part 3, living condition. Sometimes we see his house or garden in the background. It has a look of a substandard, dirty and messy house with items through here and there. The way of choosing the background reveals creators' thoughts that EM people live in an unclean environment, in a shabby and temporary house, with a sloppy and filthy lifestyle. What about other elements? So, the first one is the main character's accent. In terms of word use, his utterance is not so different from standard language, which is Northern Vietnamese, because he lives in Ba Vy. Nevertheless, the accent is imitated because the accent of the actor is not like that in real life. This imitation causes the misunderstanding about the accent of EM residents. And second one is now Anh Tộc. The word Anh Tộc appears several times in the titles of some videos. This word itself reflects the discrimination when separating the king and ethnic minority people and label them with tộc, người dân tộc. This now somehow implies that EM residents are inferior to king people, but it's not true. To conclude, this channel is revealing adverse stereotypes of EM people, especially EM men, reflecting a wrong image of them as sloppy and lazy and depraved, vicious, stingy, living in substandard condition, and being inferior people. And this one is causing misrepresentation. In fact, this action of discrimination is misleading viewers and humiliating ethnic groups people in Vietnam, which causes a range of aftermaths to be mentioned by Trung Hieu.
Many Vietnamese YouTube channels have produced comedy videos portraying ethnic minority life to distorted facts and smutty jokes, causing direct consequences to many aspects. We'll look at 4 main aspects: to people of ethnic minorities, to the audience, to national unity, and to the channel. The first aspect we want to mention, which is also the most direct consequence, is to the people of EM community. To attract more viewers, these channels have focused on comedies on ethnic minority groups, labeling them foolish, greedy, or Luddite, etc. Ahi TV is a typical example of this. Ahi is often portrayed to be lazy, naive, and harassing women with explicit jokes. These distorted facts of ethnic minorities can affect the honor, dignity, and human rights of ethnic minorities. After knowing they are imposed by these falsehoods, EM people may feel dejected. Also, these act pander to the irrational prejudices of a smaller minority. According to the Institute for Studies of Society, Economy, and Environment, ISEE, via Facebook, laughter based on distorted truths and hurt is unacceptable and should not be encouraged, especially as ethnic minorities already face large-scale negative prejudice. Therefore, we can say that these videos are only putting more bricks into the wall of prejudice. Moreover, Dr. Vũ Thị Thanh Minh, Director of Institution of National Culture, said, producers use images that do not match the Phi traditions of ethnic minorities, misleading the national cultural identity, has a great influence on the Phi customs and traditions of the Vietnamese people in general, and the unique cultural identity of the ethnic minorities in particular. Since the real worth of the EM culture is neglected while the distorted lies are spread and paid attention to. The second consequence of these kind of channels is obviously to the audience who are watching them. We all know that the mass media can have a strong impact on viewers' perceptions, creating misunderstandings about the culture and custom partly builds up the beliefs of those who receive information, including the young age group, whose perspectives were not fully developed to decide which information to trust. On the other hand, not just only children, some adult viewers are also too gullible to mistakenly think these videos correctly reflect reality. The net consequence is to national unity as it causes divisions and disunity. According to Dr. Mai Thanh Sơn from the Institute of Anthropology under the Social Science Institute of Vietnam, in his interview with Thanh Niên newspaper, facing a lot of stereotypes makes ethnic minorities wary of interacting with outsiders, especially when communicating with king people. They may feel like they're inferior. Also, they may develop hatred toward people of other ethnic groups as these type of videos cast them in bad light. The last consequence is to the channel itself. It was criticized by not only lots of audiences, but also the Committee for Ethnic Minority Affairs as the channel violates Clause 2, Article 5 of the 2012-2013 Constitution of Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Later on, Ahi, the owner of this channel, had to post an apology video. On April 21st, 2020, all previous offensive videos posted on this channel were removed, including the apology video of Ahi. Now, move on to the third part of our video delivered by our fellow presenter Hoang Oanh.
Okay, so there are two main sources of motivation for the prevalence of these racial biased videos. The first one can be that these YouTubers do not acquire sufficient knowledge about ethnic minority values. As we've investigated the background information of Arhi and his crew, they are ethnic people living in rural areas, lacking professionalism in the field of YouTube video production. They just have one cameraman, no prefabricated script. That leads to a low level of understanding in ethnic minority stereotypes. As Ahi said in his apology video, while developing the video clip, Ahi did not fully understand the customs of each ethnic group. If Ahi channel accidentally creates a video that violates a certain cultural identity, Ahi would like to send a sincere apology. The fact is that many videos of Ahi TV got reported on YouTube, but why do they still neglect all the protests and continue to produce videos of the same content? That question leads to the second underlying motivation, which is monetary matters. As we all know, YouTube is the largest entertainment video channel in the world, and people can make a huge amount of money from this channel. It can be said that the economic benefits are the main reason that many people deliberately produce videos about cultural stereotypes and race discrimination, which are increasingly rampant and out of control. The author of channel Ahi TV is no exception. The videos got reported and revitalized right afterwards. Moving to the fourth point about reactions of society, we would like to discuss two major categories, which are in-group citizens
those belonging to ethnic communities, and out-groups who don't belong to these minor groups. First, reaction of in-group people. A certain proportion of in-groups fall into the side of appreciation. By mentioning appreciation, we mean those people who simply perceive these videos as a source of entertainment without any reference to the phenomenon of cultural biases. Not only accept a group's people or behaviors, they also see the perks in them, like entertainment. Some even adopt these behaviors. In this situation, their own cultural identity is overshadowed by the density of hilarious or even ridiculous elements included in the AHI TV channels. On the contrary, many people show their in-group prejudice. They feel offended by AHI's videos and intentionally protest against ethnic minority biases. A prime example of this group is Dr. Ban Tuan Nang, who is very active in protesting against comedy videos that distort the image of ethnic minorities for fun. He and a number of his friends are planning to collectively take legal actions against the YouTube channels which take the mickey out of ethnic minorities. He declared that we are still waiting for the reasonable confrontation of the Ministry of Information and Communications. If not satisfactory, the ethnic community will definitely take actions to protest against the stigmatized attitude towards ethnic groups. So moving to the second classification. This one focuses on the reactions of outgroups with two subcategories. The first one is outgroup prejudice. These people tend to accept these videos as they match with prejudicial attitudes toward ethnic groups. This can be because they lack profound understanding about ethnic minorities. To put it simply, they approve the popularity of AHI TV videos as cultural identity is overshadowed by the density of hilarious elements. We have accumulated some comments from the AHI TV's videos on YouTube. They approve the popularity of AHI TV's video. The other is political engagement. People show a great concern about the issue of ethnic biases, and they want to protest for the boycott of the inappropriateness. This community expressed their political engagement by proposing possible actions. To be specific, they propose severe punishments for the protest against cultural identity biases. According to Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thành, Hà Nội Bar Association, using words, sarcastic images to offend the honor and dignity of individuals and collectives may be subject to criminal liability for humiliating others. According to the Article 155 of the 2015 Penal Code, if severe, the fine is up to 14 billion VND, or the highest imprisonment level can be up to 5 years, depending on the severity of the acts of violation. Offenders may be susceptible to additional penalties. In addition, Ms. Tang pointed out that the behavior of AHI TV violates point B, clause 1 in Article 116 on the premise of undermining other cultural identities. This point signifies that the acts of hatred, discrimination, division, separation, and infringement upon equal rights in the community of ethnic groups in Vietnam can be sentenced from 7 to 15 years of imprisonment. Hence, AHI TV deserves the corresponding punishment stated in the framework. It now comes to the part of recommended solutions presented by Trang.
As presented, the situation is very complicated, so it requires some complicated solutions. Here are some of our recommended solutions. To viewers, Getting views to earn money is one of the first reasons for YouTubers to make such controversial videos. As viewers, people should be careful about what they watch because their action, even small, can help support people continue making those videos. YouTube's algorithm is getting smarter and smarter. By clicking on one video, YouTube keeps offering more similar videos, resulting in watching more videos like that, leading to more views and of course more money. Views and viewers are what those YouTubers strive for. So viewers are the ones who can directly stop this situation. 1. To viewers. Young viewers. Young viewers may not truly understand what they are doing is bad for the society. They only watch videos for fun because the content is different from their normal lives, which is more intriguing. It can be hard for children to realize that the content is inappropriate, so their parents should be more concerned about what their children watch and use some methods to prevent the situation. First, block toxic channels on YouTube or control their children's activity through YouTube Kids, another branch of YouTube for children. Second, click dislike or report on videos which they think containing bad information. YouTube will delete the video and even disable any channels which receive much negative feedback and reaction. Third, educate their children about what is right or wrong to watch online. Give punishment if the children do not listen to them or keep watching the same thing. B. For adult viewers. Adults, on the other hand, can acknowledge clearly if the video contains bad information. As adults, they can dislike or report the video. Comment on the comment section about how the video is misleading people so as to raise more awareness to others. Block the channel so that YouTube cannot suggest any more videos from the channel to stop giving engagement to that channel. 2. To policymakers. As the world of technology is no longer a new thing, the law and policy should be more up to date. There has been a lot of advancements in terms of policy in the last several years about laws on cybersecurity, but there has not been much to do about YouTube videos and YouTube channels. We suggest some possible solutions that policymakers can consider. 1. Work with YouTube and form a cyber police team to keep track of what is going on with YouTube videos and YouTubers in Vietnam, so that the government and police can delete toxic videos and channels before they reach many viewers. 2. Carry out heavier fines and punishments. Nowadays, YouTube channels with bad content are fined, or maybe not fined at all, but the amount of money is only a small part of how much they can earn from YouTube, so they tend to ignore the law. With bigger fine or heavier tax, channels will be more concerned about what they post online. 3. To mass media users or social network users. Mass media tend to lead people to what to do, or in this case, what to watch. So if the media suggests watching inappropriate channel, the situation can be much worse in a short period of time. There are some things that media users can do. 1. Write blogs, posts, or vlogs on social networking sites about problematic or controversial videos or channels on YouTube. This has been proved to be very effective in case of Phuong Anh recently. In about 3 or 4 days, hundreds of posts about her rose up on Facebook and other kinds of social networks. She was cancelled and called out to work with the police. With IHTV, if the attention to the channel is big enough, we think that the owners of the channel will have to explain what they have delivered in their videos to the police. Next, suggest some more creative and information channels for viewers to watch on the post. Raise awareness about cultural differences to educate other people, which can lead to slow but more effective results in the long run. So we've come to our conclusion for this video. In this video, we've talked about representation of ethnic minorities people in IHTV, its consequences, the motivation for people to do such actions, reactions of people in the society to the situation, and some of our recommended solutions. We hope that you've had yourself some useful information. And we have a message for you. Ahi TV is only one of many YouTubers channel existing to create inappropriate content about ethnic minority people. You and I, we have to be careful and more aware of what we watch online in order not to be misled and unconsciously do harm to our society. So this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you all will health and happiness.